Hi, I'm Prema Gurreri, Vedic Astrologer, Soul Purpose Mentor, and I want to bring you the energy update here for the beginning of December, really talking about the whole month of December. And first of all, it's a full moon. Full moons are really about bringing things into completion, and I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that whole completion energy as we come to the solstice. In fact, I have a special surprise for you around the solstice so that we can really dive in and do that together, bring the year into completion, and also the projects you're working on, and also, what you are complete with. But right now, with this full moon, this is in a place in Taurus in Vedic astrology that is in a lunar mansion called Mrigashira, and it's really about a curious nature and the lightness of heart. And in these times that we're in right now, and what we've been going through on globally, socially, on many levels here, leadership wise, bringing in that lightness of heart is welcome. And your curious nature, let's remember, curiosity always leads to a lightness of heart. So these full moons are so much around bringing the light in. The moon is representational of your consciousness, and of course this hits you differently depending on how it aspects you personally, but collectively for all of us. And as we go into the holiday season, I want you to embrace what does bring you lightness in what could be heavy times. It's up to you. It's an inner job. And as we're going into this really dark time, this dark tunnel, as I call it, as we go through the solstice, I want you to have your curiosity with you and use this full moon to really tune in and ask yourself a couple of questions. What is it that I want to have? Well, let me lead you through it. Sorry, let me reel myself back there. Okay. Used to working with my clients, they're just ready to drop in at a moment. And I know you are too, so I want to lead you there. Because it is my intention always to make any information I give you practical. Otherwise, it's just bits and pieces of data that might cause you a transformation in the moment. That's fabulous, but I want you to be able to take it out for a spin. I want you to integrate it all the way down through your core. That's one of the big things we're being called to this year, and especially 217 is like this big doorway opening up that says, integrate what you know, integrate who you are, the all of who you are, and bring it right down here into the actions that you take, the words that you speak, the thoughts that you have, integrate it all the way through. So it's soul all the way down to the soles of your feet. So I want you to tune in around this full moon and take a couple of deep breaths. You can put your hand on your heart. Drop into that moment of sacred space. Breathe through your heart. And let this question drop in to your heart, where your wisdom is, where you can really listen to your soul. Go past your mind and use your mind for that amazing tool that it is. What's the one thing that my heart is really calling me to have some lightness around? And maybe I've been holding heavily that it's time for me to bring some levity to. And that might mean putting down some old emotions about it. That might mean shining a new creative light on it so you're looking at it through a different angle. What's my heart really calling me to have some lightness of being around? So tune into what that is for you. And the next step is I want you to get really curious with yourself. Use this full moon to really evoke your curiosity. Think about a child. Right now I am taking care of my daughter's new kitty, who is like 3 months old and so curious about everything. It's just been a joy and a wonderment to have her around all weekend. She's just so present and like, what's that? How does it work? What could I do with it? Could I try it a different way? Get curious. Get really curious. You can look at it from a different angle and develop a lightness of heart around it. That's going to be great for you. It's going to be great for everyone else around you when you've got some more levity. Shining the light on something helps you bring the lightness around that. So I want you to use that for the full moon. I'm going to take a few moments to talk about the energy update for the rest of the month, and I'll be tuning in some more this month with you on this. So we also have Mars, our planet of passion, our action, our honorable warrior in the Sacred Wealth Code system, which, I cannot wait to bring you. I haven't talked a lot about this, but my book around the Sacred Wealth Code will be coming out here in the new year. I'll be letting you in more on that, how you can get involved in that, and as we speak. But the honorable warrior, also the strategist, and also the engineer. That's Mars. Action, passion, inspiration, but also impatient. It's a martial planet, so it's aggressive and can definitely create conflict. And it's moving into, and again, the Vedic system, into Aquarius. Now, here's what this means. Aquarius is so much about our social structures, and is very idealistic and sees a better way, very humanitarian. I always call Aquarius the humanitarian sign. Well, Mars coming into Aquarius is a time when it's a great time to activate you into taking some action around what you believe in socially. You don't have to push back against, but stand up for what you're for. And there are some things going on, interestingly enough, during this time, marches and such, to take a stand. Now, Neptune is here as well. And K2, the south node of the moon, the eclipse nodal point of the eclipses, is in this placement too. There's going to be change, I guarantee you, this month. And there's a hot spot of this month that I want you to give you some guidance around. So that is right around Christmas Day, the day before Christmas, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas. I want you to just avoid conflict, okay? If you can, avoid travel during that time. If you have the opportunity to shift your travel so that you are traveling a little before, a little after, things will be a little bit more acute. I'm not saying anything big and bad is going to happen, and I'm not putting that out, but I'm also looking at the weather going, this is a stormy time. So, and it can be conflicting, and it can be agitating, and it can be volatile. So I want you to give people space. I want you to give yourself space. And of course, it's the holidays we want to enjoy. And if you can avoid putting pressure on yourself or anybody else during that time, please do that, which is great advice anyway. But really, please do that. Because of where Mars is going to be right with the south node of the moon, it is really going to bring up for us, again, this whole thing around social change and what we really want. And Neptune and K2 both can be a little too idealistic. On the great side, like, can see a better vision, yes, but be a little too idealistic and very opinionated. So notice if that's going on for you, and really get practical with yourself. What are the action steps that I can take this month to stand in for what I believe to raise our society up, to stand in for what I believe for humanity? It's a great time to take action, but take action with that lightness of heart, the curiosity of how you can actually make a difference, and not be in and step out of the place of pushing really hard against. Fight for, the honorable warrior always fights for what you're for, not what you're against. The strategist really looks at things and finds the best strategy possible to get the energy across, the message across, or to make it happen. And the engineer builds the vehicle. What do we need to have in place so that I can actually make that movement? I can actually make that difference. I can actually make that statement. I can actually stand in for those I really feel called to, whether it's those children, whether it's the underprivileged in any way, our society as a whole, in making better choices in our leadership, whatever it is for you. But again, don't do it from that hot place. Do it from a very grounded place. We also have a Mercury retrograde coming up. That'll be on the 19th. And that is, we've got an exchange with Jupiter and with Mercury. So what I want to tell you about that, Mercury is our communication. In fact, it rules the communicator. It also is very flexible. And, Mercury during the retrogrades, it's not all bad. It's calling you to take a closer look at something. Like, what is it this year that Mercury is retrograding for all of 16 and actually all of 17 too? And I encourage you to grab my Mercury retrograde reading and training, because it'll help you know what Mercury's retrograde retrograding for you personally, and also give you the information on how to survive Mercury retrograde and actually thrive during that time, because Mercury always has a special gift for you, because it looks at one area of life, either your purpose, either your wealth, your relationships, or your spirituality, over a whole year and 2-year period of time, really, all the way through 17 this year. So you're taking a closer look at something on a soul level. And when you get your mind with your soul, then you can actually take those practical actions, make sense of what you're feeling on the inside, and really supercharge your ability to shift, clear out, take just the action that's right for you to take, instead of wondering, like, why is my relationship falling apart? Actually, I'm looking at, really what I really want from relationship at this point of time, for instance. Okay? So go ahead and grab that Mercury retrograde training. That'll really help you with that. We've got a lot of shifts going on, holidays, winter time up in the northern hemisphere, darkest day of the year. I'm going to bring you something special around the summer solstice. Remember to ground in, listen deep to your heart. You are a difference by who you are being. So be that amazing one that you are. Take the time you need to nourish and replenish yourself. You need that. And this is a very contemplative time of year that also pulls you apart to be involved in the holidays and connection. So you need to monitor your energy, you need to replenish, you need to ground in, you need to know what your soul is working on so that you can really get with your gifts and stand in for what's right for you, what you believe in. Find that lightness of heart that this full moon is bringing you. Get really curious about where it's time for you to develop that lightness and bring it to the world. Okay, much love to you. Many blessings. And I'll be back with you really soon around something around the summer solstice. The winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, summer in the southern hemisphere. All right, much love.